Okay, I want to tell you about a project I've been working on for the past few years, the AAS Gender and Astronomy Talk project, to record the question and answer sessions after AAS talks to understand gender demographics. We have a simple web form that people can fill out on their phones, on their computers, tablets, whatever, and after every single talk, you just enter the details, like who was speaking and what were the genders of the questions that were asked. Like that. We started the project in January of 2014 and published a little report on the archive a few months later. And let me also acknowledge, this whole project has been run by volunteers. They did all the work in terms of collecting data, analyzing it, making plots. So here's the backstory. 5 years ago, I was sitting in a conference. A friend of mine was giving a talk. She only got asked questions by basically old white men. It made me wonder, is this what normally happens? Was this statistically significant? Or was this just me feeling like my friend was getting picked on? Or maybe this was just this one talk and this wasn't normal. The fact that I realized this isn't something I'm bragging about or I'm proud of. I was almost 30 and it took me that long in my career to figure out that women were being treated differently than men in talks. Okay, so we collect this data and what we find is kind of interesting. Men and women are asked roughly the same number of questions, and the conference does a pretty good job that the ratio of speakers is pretty close to the same as the ratio of the attendees. Questions are predominantly men, like 2-to-1 men to women asking questions. So, hypothesis confirmed, we measured it in the field, science. Got a marker on my hands. Recently, Sarah Schmidt and I wrote an article that just looked at all 4 years of data we have so far. A, nothing has changed in the last 4 years. Nothing has changed. Just publishing this article was not an intervention. B, if you let question and answer sessions go on longer, i.e. let more questions get asked, the gender ratio of the people who are asking the questions starts to approach the attendees. Here's the plot. If you only ask 1 or 2 or 3 questions, then it's 25% of the questions are from women. But if you go to like 6 questions, then that fraction of female question askers goes up. And that is where we want to be, I think. Okay, so why am I talking about this? There's one new thing which I'm really excited about. I recently found out that a bunch of other people have been doing the same study in other fields, totally unbeknownst to me, including genetics conferences, genetics, conservational biology, atomic physics, like fields that I have nothing to do with. Some of these studies are more detailed, but some of them, and this is the really great part, some of them have actually implemented interventions and shown that they work. Some things we've learned from reading these other studies. The first is, just tell people we're doing the study. Now we tweet about it and we tell our friends, but we need to do a better job of getting the word out. The second intervention is really interesting. Make a rule that requires the first question after every talk to be asked by a junior person. It won't always be followed, but just putting that rule out there instantly makes the situation better, hopefully making the meeting a more approachable event for everyone. This doesn't solve all the other problems about how meetings, and at least we can make the Q&A period a little more inviting for young people. And that's a pretty good goal.